Right, okay. New mic, new chair, new me, new setup. Let's go. Reading. Reading changed my life. And I think a lot of people dismiss reading because it's not as fun as playing a video game. It's not as fun as watching a movie or whatever. And I'm not saying that about everyone because there are people out there that love to read. But there's so much. Um, there's so many books and so much that's been written that people either haven't read that probably should have read. Um, and books have been about for thousands of years, haven't they? Let's be honest, thousands, millions, probably not. The point is that reading changed my life in a way that I can't quite comprehend yet. I've only read two books. I just want to get that out there. I have only, no 2.2. I call it 2.2 because one of the books was about 30 pages long. The other two have been uh, full books, 300, 400 page plus. Um, they have all been around finance and self improvement, but that's just what I find interesting. I have tried reading fiction, things like that. Stephen King, tried him. I like his I like his films, but I just couldn't really get into his books. But again, I think that's just a me for what I find interesting. And it took me a long time to actually find out what I found was interesting. So I did, like I said, I tried Stephen King, tried a few other books, a few other genres, and I just couldn't for the life of me get into it. And I thought it was just me not um, just not being a reader. But now I've found finance, but it's if someone if you're not the type of person to be into money and finances and things like that, if someone's say, oh yeah, I read a finance book, they're gonna be like, what? Like you read money books? Like, well, yeah, and it's not the get rich quick books. I just want to stress that it's not things like that. It's just about personal growth, and like I said, I think there's been so many books. There is most likely going to be a solution to a problem that you have now that has been written and is out there. That there's nothing that you're experiencing now that somebody else hasn't. That's saying you're not the first and you're not the last, and I think a lot of people forget that. Um, it's it really is. It's made me woke. If you hate that, I know my missus hates that saying, but that's how I feel. I feel woke whenever I read a book or I've started reading a book. I feel like I'm updating my brain. It's like if you get a software update for your computer, you update it and it does something slightly different, maybe better, maybe more efficient, whatever. And that's what it does with your brain. It makes you think outside the box. Um, but you've got to have the mentality and the patience to sort of sit down in a quiet room and read. Because if you put music on, like for me, I find I end up listening to the music and then I have to reread what I've written, and it's like, oh, okay, great. Like I've I've just got to reread that, and then before you know it, you're just back at square one sort of thing. And I mean, reading for me has only recently been something that I've picked up. Um, Again, going back to the whole woke thing, like it it's only recently where I have started reading books quite consistently. It's not just books; it's news in general and newsletters and things like that. It's keeping on top of um, the world and what's actually going on. Because again, like at one point, I used to bury my head and just play Dota and CS:GO for like hours on end, or Diablo or whatever. And I'm not saying you can't do that, and I'm not saying that's the wrong way about life. I'm saying for me personally, I spent so long playing video games and burying my head in the sand, telling myself that eventually it would be all right. I would somehow figure it out and I would somehow get the things I wanted out of life. And it never happened. And it took the whole world to be in lockdown for that to happen, for me to, like, I was playing Guild Wars 2 at the time and I was just playing it like 12, 13, 14 hour days. Like when we were in lockdown and we literally had nothing to do, like I would schedule my day around playing that game. I would be up to do this and do that, and then I would be back in 6 hours or whatever to do this and do that, and then I would be back on later to play with a group of friends, and we'd be doing this and that, and it was all time scheduled. And then, I sort of, I think it was like 4 or 5, I think it might have been 5 months in, and I sort of realised and went, fuck me, I am wasting my time here. Like, I am absolutely just wasting it, and again, it took me ages to figure out what to do. I think I just wanted to read a book just to not look at a computer screen. I think that was, I think that was a big thing. And obviously that's when I found, finance books and things like that, because that was obviously a problem. It goes back to the problem thing. The problem in my life at the time was finding something to better myself, because I was stuck inside relying on a company to pay my furlough, and I was sat there thinking, holy shit, I am so dependent on this company keeping me right now. It was like a wake up call, thinking, you know, you go to work and you work your ass off for that company, but all that company's got to do is just go, nah, we don't want you anymore, we'll get rid of you, and that's your whole life gone. You've got to find another job that has the same money or similar money, similar hours, things like that. And people don't like change, and it can then just spiral out of control. And it made me go, right, I need to be more productive in myself to get the ball rolling. Like back when I was younger, thinking, oh, I'll have it all figured out somehow. Yeah, how are you going to do that? Sit down and actually figure it out and read some books. And again, it all goes back to the idea that a problem has already been written about and read about, and people have already learned from it. So I'm sure there is something in a book somewhere to help me with my problems. And I think I do feel like I've not fixed, but I think I'm in the process of fixing my problems. And again, not a lot of people can say that. And I'm not saying this to be like big headed or anything. I'm saying like reading has literally changed my life to where I don't think I'm going to go back to playing 12, 13 hour days of video games. I think the most I can play now is probably a couple of hours at most, and then I start getting brain dead, and just figure I should read something or do something productive, and like I say, it's not just books, it's the news. So every morning I get up, do whatever I need to do, breakfast wise, sort myself out, shower, all that jazz, and then I'll sit down for, it can be 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour before I have to shoot off to work, and I read. I read the news, I check the headlines, I might read an article, I might read one of the magazines that come from the subscription that I pay for, scan it over. I don't read everything, but, if an article sticks out to me for what I'm interested in, then, I'm going to go for like cryptos. Like, yeah, I invest in crypto, so I do follow a lot of crypto articles, but I don't click on everything. But every now and then something will pop up and it'll go, okay, well, I'm glad I know that, because if I didn't know that, well, first of all, I probably wouldn't be investing crypto, or I wouldn't be a very intelligent investor. Second off, I wouldn't know that this has happened or that's happened, because with stocks you can be all right 1 minute, and then the next minute you can look and you can be down 20%. I mean, that happened a couple of weeks ago, like the crypto crash thing that happened. I was down about 30% in my portfolio. I sort of knew it was coming, but I'm investing in the long run, so I didn't really do anything about it. Probably a bit stupid, but I knew there was a lot of tension, and it was only a matter of time before something like this was going to happen. But I've been in this before, and I will ride it out again, and it will be fine, because I'm investing for the long run. But I'm getting off topic. Pick up a book, read it, find what you want to read. It doesn't matter if you have to read 3 or 4, 5 different books. Like, you could read the first 2 chapters and be like, this is crap, I'm not interested. Fine, just try different books. Try reading a newsletter, try reading an article on something you're interested in. It doesn't have to be finance like me. If you're interested in art, read something based on art. If you're interested in tech, read into the tech, because you never know what's out there. And if you're just stuck in your little bubble, you're going to be stuck in there forever, and you're never ever going to get out of it without having something that's gonna take you out of that bubble. And for me, it was reading the books on finance and personal growth that made me wake up and go, holy shit, this is actually possible. But nobody told me this. My parents have never done anything like this. I think my granddad did, but he was a very quiet man, even to the end. So he never told anyone, really. But I think that's all part of everybody's journey. Everybody's journey is different, and because nobody was there to teach me how to do it, and I've sort of just gone through life like everyone else, or like I think like everyone else. It's like a paradox system. If you think about what everyone else, like you might look at someone in a big fancy car and you'd be like, oh wow, they're doing really good, but you don't know what's going on in their head. You don't know what they've had to get through to be there, what their journey is, whether they've done this or done that. It's the whole paradox effect of looking around and thinking that everybody is the same as you, or that you're fitting in with society by working for a company and then going on to live your pension, and that's it. You don't have to follow the regime because everybody's journey is different. So whatever you're doing, put it down, pick up a book and read it. And I will go over the books I have read. Like I said, I've only 2.2. I know that's it's weird, but yeah, I've read two full books, and then I read another one that was only 30 pages long. I am reading another one at the moment. It's just things that I find interesting, and I'm sure I'll be reading more. And I gave myself a time limit of I wanted to read 3 books before the end of the year. Now, again, the 30-page one I do technically count as a book, but also not. So I am reading another one, and I wanted to read 3 books before the year's out. Now, I work 55-hour weeks, and it's hard to find time to do anything, let alone reading books, which can take months to get through. They really can. And sometimes you have to go back and read the initial chapter, that the one before, just to refresh your memory of what was going on. So it is hard for me, but if I can do it, I'm sure you can do it as well. And I think, if you're feeling a bit stuck and you're feeling a bit like trapped and you don't know what to do, pick up a book, because a book can change you. And on a last note, I have started an Instagram. That's going to be full of like little motivational things, little tips, tricks, just things to get people through the day. Because I know how hard it is when you're just slogging away constantly, bashing your head against a brick wall, feeling like it's never going to go down. Sometimes you need to pick me up. Sometimes the people around you don't even care, and they don't even act like they care. You could tell someone that you've got a problem, and they'll nod their heads and they'll say yes, and then they'll just go back to their work because they don't care. And it, there's always that saying of like, you should talk to people, but sometimes people don't want to listen, and that's the biggest problem. And sometimes you just need a little pick me up, maybe a little quotation, little bit of motivation, just something to get you through the day. Well, I'm starting an Instagram. I'm going to leave the link in the description down there somewhere. And just give it a follow, and feel free to comment. I'll try my best to get back to everyone. It is very early in its infancy, so I'm just trying to like push to get it going, sort of thing. But it's just a little pick me up if people really want that. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Enjoy your day. Peace.